Hello and welcome. I'm with Mani Vembu, who earlier this year took over as the CEO of Zoho, a Indian multinational that has presence across the world and in its almost 30-year journey has started a very unique trajectory and has managed to stay on top of the charts as well. Thank you so much, Mani, for joining us on NDTV. You have some exciting new announcements today to make that has some implications also for the language role.
We are announcing ZI LLM. That's the major announcement. So it is not for the consumers, it is for the business use cases. So basically, we are right sizing the model to handle some of the use cases, business use cases. And this is to make sure that we offer value to our customers. So we want to reduce the costing there. So we are right sizing the models. We are launching like say 1.3 billion parameter, 2.6 billion parameter, and 7 billion parameter. See, all three models are trained specifically for certain use cases. That is our major announcement. And we are also working on like say announcing the ZIASR, which is like say speech recognition for both Hindi and English. So and we are going to enhance it for other Indian languages too. So that's the plan.
So if there are gaps otherwise, I know you're talking about LLMs is a more bigger focus, but if there are gaps otherwise because the country has so many diverse languages, technology is giving us the answers.
Yes, exactly. Right. So now if say some of our sales or support talks in Hindi to a customer in North, so now that will automatically get converted and right, so the notes can be in English.
So that's fantastic. Actually, in a country as diverse as this, so all languages can stay alive and thrive as well. We are talking about a time when there is global economic uncertainty. In this context, what are you seeing as the outlook for your own company, for Zoho, and for Indian tech first?
See, we are expanding geographically and we believe in transnational localism. That means we have local office everywhere and we are compliant to local laws or local regulations and we make sure that the data resides there. So we have data centers in 16 countries. So and we want to actually provide local jobs in their country. And in terms of say technology, like say in India, so we are seeing like say digitization is going to happen, already happened across every touch point, but it's going to accelerate because of the AI and faster time to implement everything. So it is going to accelerate. Every touch point is going to get digitized. And in some cases, India is actually ahead. Say if you take payments, India is ahead than many other countries, right? So, and that is actually going to accelerate is what I believe in.
You spoke about transnational localism. That's something that I also had the opportunity to visit your Tengasi offices and see what is happening there. So, it's for you, bringing rural youth into tech is not social, corporate social responsibility. It is not CSR. It is part of your business strategy. How does that work? I mean, you're saying you're duplicating this in multiple countries.
Yes, see, what we see is like, right, see, most of the talent, if not given the opportunity, they go waste. So we have learned this from the last 30 years of operation. So once we create the ecosystem, of learning, and we also create the opportunity for them, we are seeing that they are really performing well. But the initial, there is a learning curve for that, but we want to invest on that learning curve because we don't want to compete on talent. Rather, we want to create talent. So say for example, in Tenkasi now we have 1,000 engineers. So the first 100 took longer. The reason is because right, say there is no ecosystem. Once we build the ecosystem, then it accelerates. The same is what we want to replicate across all the locations.
So, out of your workforce, how many would be these people who you have actually picked up and trained and created that new talent pool?
If you look at our total employee strength, so in Zoho schools we have like say 15% of our employee strength comes from Zoho schools. There we completely pick students out of 12th standard. We pay them stipend and then we actually train them and onboard them as employees. And now 15% of them are from that. And if you look at the first batch student, he is the one who is heading our Saudi Arabia operation now. So that means it is working successfully for us. And if you look at say more than 90% of our employees would have joined us fresh out of college. So across different colleges, right? So and the training and creating the talent pool is part of we look at it as part of our responsibility and part of our strategy too.
India keeps talking about demographic dividend is the one that is going to catapult us into a leading position in the world. And on the other hand, you have AI, taking away jobs or taking away a lot of the work that otherwise humans would do. Do you see them as contradictory to each other, or your philosophy is something that many others also would need to now start looking at?
See if you look at the technology evolution, so when PC came, we had the same fear. When cloud came, we had the same fear. But everything has created new type of jobs. So maybe if AI tools become much efficient in terms of generating code, then programmer's job might reduce, right? Opportunity in programming might reduce, but it will open up opportunities in other areas. So that's what we believe in. And then and humans are also very creative. So we can't sit idle. So we are creative in creating AI jobs, and there are going to be people who are going to create AI jobs. So I'm optimistic about that. So we are all right. So if say take many jobs that doesn't exist 20 years before. So a social media management, there's another job that exists 20 years. But today, how many social media marketers are there? So similarly, a lot of jobs that doesn't exist today because of internet. Same way because of AI, because of all these technologies. So there are going to be new types of jobs which is going to create. So in service sector, like say a lot of places where we fall short in services, human services, because human beings don't have time. We are all busy. So in those sectors, there is going to be an acceleration in terms of people going there and providing better services to others.
Sudhir, of course, stepped down as CEO and became chief scientist, and that obviously shows that you want to talk about R&D and invest that much more in R&D. What are the strengths that come from there? This criticism also comes, that India doesn't do, like the way China has done, India doesn't do enough of it. Is this also one step in that direction?
Yes, definitely, because Sridhar is very close to R&D, that means, right? So he wants to invest a lot of time in R&D, and we also believe that it's not an overnight thing that happened in China, right? So it is a effort they have put for so many years that is showing results now. And only when if we start, we have already started in say product development 30 years before. The early days used to be tough, right? So you have to build the ecosystem. And that ecosystem is what differentiates us from others. And so we are now building this ecosystem, and we hope to result in you'll see better results as we invest more.
See, there is also, being credited with that very unique philosophy of work and the dynamics at the workplace and so on and so forth. Is that something that you, as the next leader here, also intend to continue that philosophy, something that is integral to Zoho?
Yes, definitely. Right. So culturally, we don't want to change much. The reason is because that's what keep us what we are today, and we want to enable people. So we want to actually empower our employees and give them a lot of freedoms. That's what see that way. So trust and freedom is what we give. The spirit is what we give, and we see that people are coming up with good ideas. And see most of what we announced even today. So a lot of it is done by say some smart engineer working there, and they identify these ideas. They come up with prototypes. They present it, and then they take it forward. Right. So we just have to do the ecosystem for them to shine well.
I remember we did a report on the kind of workspace that you created there for people, which has a lot of flexibility and I think keeps people stress free as well. Uh, at this time, when there's so much of debate about work hours and work life balance and so on and so forth, is that something that everyone would need to adapt from your own experiences at Zoho? Because this is actually a very almost unique example. You don't see many players doing that.
See, there is two types of work, right? One is the routine work, the other is like a creative work. And in routine work, where timing is important, you can actually have those timings, fixed timings. And in industrial era, it made sense. Shift timings, everything. But in knowledge industry, how will I know that when will I get an idea? Can come on Sunday or can come on Saturday, right? Same way for me, let's say writing something. So how do you know that when you get an idea? So that's what we are. So the working hours is like say whenever you are in a flow, you just work fully. So in the last 1 year, our engineers have like say put a lot of effort in getting all this done. And whenever you don't get an idea, then you keep searching for ideas and do the thing. So your creative freedom, you have to you can't switch off the mind. So you can't say that, oh, I don't want to think about this idea after 6, after 8, on a Saturday or on a Sunday.
And you've seen that it works.
Yes, exactly. Right? So it works, and that's why we are alive.
You spoke about these new, interesting, and very exciting, products that you have now added to your suite. Put that in context for us in the world scenario? How do these kind of scale up? How would you gauge them? How would you assess them?
So, in terms of whenever we launch a new product, we look at the usage of it. So, what is the market demand for it? How do customers behave? Say, for example, in our AI case, we see that 1.6 billion IT calls are made for our AI features every month. So, in the last 6 months for 2020, you have seen that it's increasing for clicks. That means we know that these are getting used by customers. So, that's how we got usage and interest from the customers.
You were, your focus, you've spoken about technology for all, in that sense, democratizing technology or making it, allow it to reach to the smaller players as well. And the focus has been on S&Ds. Now, how do you start looking at the newer markets or the bigger market or the bigger companies, bigger organizations as well?
So, see, we have our product portfolio. I will divide it into 3. One is, like, say, find products. Then there is domain-specific app platforms. Then there is developer platforms. So we allow customers to mix and match between 3. So not all products have to be customizable, extendable, or developers have to work on it. So there are some products like, say, Sign or Survey, which is plug and play. So customer can just sign up, then start using. Whereas a product like CRM, it requires a lot of customization. So because we are only selling the CRM, we are not selling the sales process. So the sales process is unique to every company. Each industry is unique. So they come on, customize it, extend it, integrate with their own legacy systems. So we provide all the tools. And our differentiator has always been, like, say, low-code tools, investing in low-code tools. All our platforms are powered by low-code tools. So the reason is because traditionally the enterprise software side is focusing only on developers. So, and if you don't have a developer, you can't extend the functionality. But our focus is always, like, say, giving the low-code tools, make it easy to extend. Wherever needed, you code. So we call it as contextual coding.
So is that your differentiator when you compare yourself to a global tech giant?
Yes, exactly. Right. So if you compare with the traditional enterprise, our differentiator is offering more low-code tools, and we are now combining the power of low-code tools plus the AI, so that there is a human verified in AI. If AI generates 1,000 lines of code, somebody has to verify, somebody has to read it, and reading code is harder than writing code. So, but it is, yes, exactly, right. So if it is generating a view screens, where process is shown in the screen, and then you can actually modify it. So that's what we call it as code creation. So then it is much more easier to verify and go to production faster than checking the 1,000 lines of code and guessing where it will go wrong and doing other things.
You've spoken about investing a lot in R&D. As someone who has never, you've never had to dress up your books for, showing in the market and showing how we are performing and so on. And yet you are being bootstrapped, you use your own resources, you don't raise money. How has that worked out as a big advantage, or are there also challenges because of that?
See, we never faced a challenge in terms of, like, say, investments. Because money flow. The reason is because we always put the profit back into R&D. So we try to be ahead. So, say, for example, when we were doing on-premise software, we saw the cloud coming, and then we started investing on cloud. Same way we started investing on AI from 2013. So that means, right, say, much earlier we started investing because we have to build the talent pool. So we have built the talent pool, we have built the ecosystem. Now we are seeing the results. So in that sense, and the advantage for us is, like, say, there's no school experiment we are doing, the rural expansion experiment we are doing. So all these experiments you could do, and the freedom gives that right space to experiment. So, and then we are not very afraid of failure. We are not afraid of taking risks.
Because you are taking the library.
Yes, exactly.
This thing about investing in AI, you've always spoken about privacy first. How do you ensure that? Because increasingly that becomes a concern for your customers and consumers.
Yeah, see, we take even AI agents that can be actually added as a digital employee. But with all the guardrails, if you specify the role specific to that, it can't break that boundary. Because I can't go and ask the AI, so what is the salary of someone else? Right? So I can only see my salary. So the guardrails are actually set there. So it can't violate the guardrail. So that's something we are ensuring that.
You spoke about the Indian market as something that you will be focusing on. So, how are you planning to deepen your impact and presence across the Indian market?
Yeah, so we are now doubling down on certain industries. For example, BFSI is one industry, automotive is one industry. We are seeing good interest from manufacturing. So these are all the industries we are investing heavily. And the large customers. So we are seeing a lot of demand from large customers. So and we are getting our operations ready to serve them better. So we are increasing our effort in terms of how do we serve them better. That's when we are focused.
So, you've spoken about shifting strategy from product led to region like kind of development. What does that really mean? So, it means that you will look at new geographies. You already have a presence and sources.
Yes. So that's what. So we used to be a product company and with having a self-service motion across different countries. Now as we go up market, there is a lot of personal interactions and high touch is required for larger customers to buy and implement our software because it's a partnership. So any large customer, it's a partnership. And so what we are doing is, let's say some of the leadership are shifting to focus on the region so that we can actually expand our presence in each region.
You have been quoted as also saying AI won't kill SAS. So there is apprehension, isn't it, in this scenario? And what is your outlook on that? How is it going to work out in the future?
We see demos of SaaS apps being shown, even though someone says that it is going to kill SaaS. But we are only seeing the demos on the SaaS apps. Right? So in that sense, the SaaS is going to power the AI. Some of the workloads might move. Some of the workload might move into conversational AI, conversational path. But that always happens. Say if you look at when some workload of business apps move into email, some workloads of business app are moved into chat software. For example, I don't approve going to expense approval. I don't do going into the expense software. Rather, I do it from my chat software so quick. So same way, some of them move into conversational path, but I don't know where the data will come from. So SaaS is going to be there for that.
Final thing, a lot of young entrepreneurs, technocrats who are looking at this, and engineers are not going to get jobs. That fear is there, but India produces so many engineers, especially the south of the country. What is your word? What is your message to these people who want to perhaps turn entrepreneurs?
I would say, we have to look for opportunities. We have to keep iterating, experimenting on a lot of different things. We have to be flexible enough to look for pockets of opportunities, and then we have to just seize them. So, because it's a lot of things are changing, and with every change, there are a lot of opportunities that is going to open. So, instead of looking at the past, we have to look at, say, how the future is going to be. So, what are the new jobs that are going to come, say, 1 year later, 2 years later? What is this empowering? So, it's a
Innovation is the key.
innovation is the key.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manil, for joining us. And that's the conversation with Mani Vembu, his vision, the road ahead that he is leading Zoho up to. Already staggering growth and more to come. Best wishes from us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.